Hello! What is up, guys? It's LegitRabbi, and I do bar mitzvahs for 1,600 Microsoft points, and today I'm back with another story, and of course, I would leave it up to my Twitter followers to choose this one about the creepy molester guy, but, it was kind of fun. Like, I didn't really know which video I wanted to do. I had a few stories, but I didn't know which one I wanted to commentate, so I just asked people on Twitter, and of course they would choose this one. But if you want to vote on the next one, I guess, or just play with me, Twitter link is in the description. You can follow me there, and yep, cool stuff. So let's get into it, because this one can go pretty long if I don't shut up at some point. I feel like I have to say this every time, but last summer I went on a bike trip. It was 2 weeks long from Maine to Quebec in Canada, and it was great. It was one of the best experiences ever. We had a lot of crazy stuff happen. I know there's a video I already did about me getting raped by a moose. That's over on COD Ops. And I don't know if I did other ones, but regardless, here's the next one. This one's really creepy. That's the only word to describe it, is creepy, pedophile-ish. But let's get into it. Also, this is an interesting gameplay, so if you like watching gameplay, here's a nice game of Demolition on Stadium. I believe I go like 85-5. I don't record the end score, but I think it's 85-5 or something around there. But anyway, so in our group, it was a bike trip. There were 2 leaders. Their names were John and Sarah. They play somewhat of an important part. And there were 6 guys and about 4 girls in the trip. And one day, we were up in Maine, very northern part of Maine, in the hick town. And that's the truth. It's no bullshit, no disrespect. That's just what it was. For the very northern part of Maine, we had 5 more days up there, and 3 of them were in this hick town. No one was there. It was completely deserted, uninhabited, a lot of farmland, and then the last 2 days before the border was a little bit more populated. But for the most part, nothing was there. A few barns, and the only people that actually were there was the Amish community. I don't know how many of you guys know a lot about them, but they live very simply. They don't drive cars. They usually, some of them use horses, I guess, to get around. No electronics. The men dress in top hats, all black clothing, and the women, oh my god, that was just thunder outside. And the women wear dresses, and they usually have a lot of kids, but when we were riding through, it was kind of nice. It was kind of cool to see that. But those were the only people there, and like I said, a lot of farmland, because they had farms and barns that I guess they would work on. That's how they lived, and those were the only people there. I don't even think the entire time we were there we saw one gas station, just a few pizza restaurants. That was it. The town was run down. It looked like the scene in a movie where the dust ball's flying by, but I think you get the point. So every night, and the lights just flickered. Oh my god, listen to that. Holy shit. Keep rolling, Rabbi. Whoa, lights dimming. I swear the power's gonna go out. I'm just gonna keep going. So, I lost my train of thought, but I want to keep this going. So, throughout the trip, we would stay at different spots, usually campsites, but since this place was so deserted, I'm gonna ignore the thunder now. There was no, really campsites to stay, so we would just stay in open fields. Now, obviously, it was planned out where we were gonna stay. It was pretty safe. They knew what they were doing, but it was still a little bit creepy. No populated campsites, just out in the open fields for about 3 or 4 nights. And so one day, maybe 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, it's really hot, it's really humid, sun's going down, maybe like 100 degrees. Sarah, the woman, her bike was getting flat tires all the time throughout the trip. So once again it happened, and we all just stopped while she fixed it. And for some reason, I forget why, but I was on the other side of the road. So they were just like, whatever, stay over there on that side of the road. I was like, fine. I was really sweaty, so we sat down, everyone was talking, I was sipping some water. I was exhausted. I just collapsed on the ground, and they're all helping her fix the bike. And about a mile down the road, I see this really weird picture. Ready? I see this guy. It looked like some weird guy wearing a mask, like from The Dark Knight, pedaling on a tricycle. It looked exactly like Jigsaw riding his tricycle from Saw. That's what it looked like. And he's all hunched over, and he's pedaling up the road, and it was kind of a funny sight. And I'm sure it was a little bit of heat stroke. I was not tripping at all, but that's what it looked like. And as he came closer, I noticed it was just an Amish guy, and the top hat was kind of what threw me off, but that's what he looked like. And he was hunched over on the bike, and it was a girl's bike. It was a small bike. It was like 10 times too small for him. It had flowers on it, and it had a basket. And so he comes up, and he starts talking to me, and he looked pretty funny, but he was like, "Oh, hello there." And that's not how Amish people talk, but that's how he talked. And I was like, "How you doing? What's up?" And he's like, "What you are doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, we're just passing through. we're riding up to Canada, so we're just in town for the night. And he's like, "Oh, where are you staying?" And he started asking me all these personal questions. And at this point, he's talking to himself. I'm not even looking at him because I look down, and in the basket of the bike, there was a crossbow, like a Black Ops crossbow, no explosive tip, but he had a crossbow. And I don't want to be ignorant, but I think he was going hunting, because I don't, besides maybe the stuff they get on the farm, I don't know, especially these people, where they could get food. So he was going hunting with it, and that was a little bit creepy. And then he looks over and sees the rest of the group, and he goes, "How old are the girls?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, I don't know if I just heard this right." And he says again, "How old are the girls?" And I'm just like, "Whoa, buddy, I just said the guides are 21 and 22, and we're younger." That's all I said. And so he goes over, or no, sorry. At this point, John looks over and, thank God, comes to my aid, because he sees what's going on. This creepy guy's been talking to me for about a minute or two, and he comes over and tells me to go sit with the rest of the group. So I cross the street to the other side, and this guy was asking all kinds of personal questions, like where we're staying, how old the girls are, probably how old the boys are too, and just oh my... I'm just gonna keep fucking going, and this is production value. And so he just keeps talking, and John basically had to tell him to fuck off, because this guy was just saying all kinds of weird stuff. So meanwhile, this is like a sub story. We're sitting on the lawn. We sat down on a lawn to change the bike tire, and we didn't think anyone lived there because it looked like a shed, but it looked maybe 100 years old. The paint was chipping off. It was crazy. And this guy walks out. He's maybe 100 years old. I'm not even joking. And it took him 10 minutes to get to his from his doorstep to where we were on the front of his lawn. And he had a shotgun on his porch. That was the only sign maybe someone was there, the shotgun. But before that, it looked like a rundown shed that no one did anything with for 1,000 years. And he comes out and he's like, "You guys having a party on my lawn?" We're like, "No, we're not having a party. We're fixing a bike tire." He's like, "Eh." And he stands there for 15 minutes while we try and fix the bike tire. And we're trying to fix it. We're also looking up at him like, what is he doing? He's just standing there. He was just an old senile man, though. We didn't give him a hard time. We call this guy Sneak Attack because follow me here, we're involved with this Molester guy, and then the Sneak Attack guy comes and tries to, get some also. And so Sarah was just like, "John, let's get the kids out of here. Let's go to where we're staying." She picks up the bike. We start walking off. And the Amish guy told John, he was like, "Here, take this marble. Give it to the kids. It will bring them good luck in Canada." So he just thought this guy was a nice guy trying to give him the marble, even though he asked how old our girls were. Just keep that in your mind. And it was a listening device. I don't know how he knew. He must have seen a Y or something, but it was a listening device that he gave us. And I'm not going to lie, for the next 2 or 3 nights, I was a little bit scared. Sleeping in open fields with nothing. Maybe, hopefully, John had a gun in his bag in case this creepy Amish guy came back to rape us. But we were certainly not living in an Amish paradise. That's all I can say. That's pretty much it. I don't want the story to run too long. I think that was pretty good, but that was the creepiest moment of the trip, and luckily we never saw them or heard from them again. But that was like the weirdest combination. And now if I could go back, I was thinking about this, if I could have a second chance, when he asked me how old the girls were, I would have been like, "Do you have kids? How old are your girls?" And I would have mooned him or something. That's all I could think. But in the moment, it was just the weirdest thing. So leave me a comment about what you would say to that Amish guy. And other than that, if you guys want to leave me a rating, 400 ratings would be awesome on my life stories. If we can get this to 400 likes, that'd be cool. And other than that, thanks for watching. I'll post another video in the next few days about what's going on this week, because I'm just chilling. And if you want to play, Twitter in the description. And other than that, I will see you guys later, and take care.